job, I think, in many very high-profile companies and also UAE embassy. And through that, she became a very trained professional and interpreter where she can able to speak in 7 languages. So we could imagine there is a big chance for her to expand Baba's knowledge and also service to outside world. So without taking much time, we would like to welcome Sister Sona. So Sister Sona, welcome. We would like to hear from you. Om Shanti.
Thank you very much, sister. I hope you can all hear me okay. Wonderful. So a big welcome to all of you, actually. I'm in Abu Dhabi, where the sun is shining and coronavirus is far away. And, you know, when Sister Mira contacted me, asking me to deliver a little bit of a sustenance class, and what topic would I choose? I thought to myself, you know, it's got to be a topic that comes from my heart. It's got to be something that's real for me. And I reflected a little bit on the last 1 year and what's happened for me in the last 1 year. Because I think for all of us, you know, our Brahmin journey is a long one and it's a windy journey, but certainly, you know, there are moments in that journey which you will never forget. And 2020, I think, is a year that many of us will recognize as being a year when drama pushed us forward in many ways. So, you know, in Hindi, we say when the car doesn't work, you give it dhakka. Dhakka means you push it. A few people get behind the car and you just push the car and make it move forward. And I think 2020 was one of those years when the drama pushed us forward. So I was just reflecting and asking myself, what has the drama changed in me? What topic could I talk about that really comes from my own experience? And I realized that it's got to do with my heart. It's got to do with my feelings. It's got to do with the openness of my own attitude towards people. And if I had to say in one line what the drama did for me, it really stretched my heart. What do I mean by that? Well, I'll take it up in the next hour, but certainly I feel that, like Baba said today in the Murli, his role is that of the purifier. And how does Baba purify us? You know, Baba's got his best friend with him. You all know Baba's best friend, right? It's not Dharamraj. That'll come later. At the moment, Baba's best friend is the drama. It always has been. And the messages we get from the drama, I think, are the greatest signals that we all need to heed to, we all need to listen to. And so last year, I feel that for many of us, these signals were very personal. And with the change of environment, the change of all sorts of things that we were used to in our comfort zone, you know, when comfort zone changes, it becomes apparent what our attachments are, what our supports are, what our dependencies are. And it's like we live in our little Brahmin comfort zone, even though we say we are unlimited and we're not dependent on anything and we're all detached and we're all fine. But I really feel that it's time now, as we are approaching, you know, the final scenes, as we know, of the confluence age, when anything false, anything fake within the soul is going to be squeezed out. And so I was asking myself, what did the drama squeeze out of me? What did the drama do for me? And I'd have to say that the drama made me expand my heart, stretch my heart, make my heart a lot more unlimited in terms of my feelings towards other Brahmins, people in this Brahmin family. And that is continuing till today. It started about a year ago when we saw scenes of lockdown, not just in the world and India, but scenes of lockdown in Madhuban itself. And at that moment, I remember thinking to myself, how could this happen? I never expected a day to come when we would have to be on stage asking Brahmins, please go, please leave, book your flight. It was shocking for me. How could Baba ask his children to leave? No matter, you might say it's government regulations or whatever, but aren't we well above all of that? I mean, aren't we the masters of the earth? We have Almighty God as our Father, and we're telling Brahmins to leave the mount, the holy mount. And as time progressed, it was one thing after another, which I'd never seen in my life before. And that continues until today. Just today, I got a message from a very sweet sister, a friend of mine in Chennai, who said, Sona, I am guilty. I cannot attend the funeral of a 42-year-old surrendered Brahmin sister who I have worked with for over 20 years. And she left the body yesterday. Today is her cremation. I can't go. I feel guilty. I'm breaking inside. I'm just feeling so much pain. And so these scenes that are pushing us beyond our comfort zone are continuing and will continue until the end of the Kalpa, as things get more and more heated. So I guess for me, I really had to go back to asking myself, what is the drama teaching me? And what lessons am I learning from that? And why is it that I need to start to become more and more unlimited? And actually, what does this unlimitedness mean? There are 3 words I picked up from today's Murli that meant a lot to me, very linked. Baba said that we are becoming sensible. Baba said we are becoming wise. Do you remember? He talked a lot about us being children who are knowledgeable. And my favorite word in Gyan, right from the time I came, is the word samaj in Hindi, which means understanding. I guess as a younger BK, I thought it was about the head. I thought it meant I understand where this is coming from. I understand what's going on. I understand the links of the karmic situations. But as I've progressed in my Brahmin life, I think even the word samaj to me, understanding, has nothing to do with the head. It has nothing to do with intellectualization and understanding from this plus this equals this. It has everything to do with the heart. It has everything to do with my own feelings about other people, myself, and the drama. Because our life as spiritual beings begins and ends with our feelings, our heart, not with how much we can use the head. So what does it mean to have an unlimited heart? Wisdom, knowledge, sense, understanding are all part of having an unlimited heart. An unlimited heart is actually the heart that can stretch so much beyond all boundaries of my own comfort zone, or what I think is my comfort zone, and to be who I am, no matter what the tests of the drama, no matter how situations change, to maintain that stability of feelings, of good wishes, of pure bhavna towards every second of the drama. Not to hold the intellectual faith that everything is good, everything is beneficial, no. But to know that even that which my eyes don't see, even that which I can't perceive, is beautiful. Do you remember there is one Murli, it comes around every 5 years, in which Baba uses the word wonderful. The drama is wonderful. I think he says it about 50 times. And it's one of the Murlis I can never forget. Baba says, why should you love the drama? Because the drama is wonderful. And the reason I love that is because that Murli reminds me that if any situation, any person, any event, any memory, any sanskar makes my heart limited, blocks my heart, hurts my heart, limits my heart, then I have again come back to my limited comfort zone. So unlimited heart is the capacity. This is a word that I really ask myself many times. Do I have the capacity to stretch? Do I have the capacity to understand? Do I have the capacity and the capability to be able to reach out way beyond my current sanskaras and hold goodness within? Even when scenes are looking distressing, even when scenes are looking unimaginable, even when I can't in my head understand why this is happening, do I have that capacity to keep stretching until infinity, being unlimited? So really, an unlimited heart is an unlimited stage. It is a stage that has no boundaries, no blocks. And what does that look like? Because all these words are wonderful. They're great lecture words. But what does it look like on the ground? If I was in an unlimited stage, how would I be? Ultimately, all of Baba's Gyan is not for us to speak about. Baba's Gyan is for us to imbibe. It is for us to then translate into action and behavior and feelings and thoughts. So what does an unlimited heart look like? And I think for me, when I have absorbed that much sense and wisdom, that much deep understanding, then there is never a moment of either criticism, judgment, questioning, or condemning. If everything that happens in front of me, I can accept it with my heart. Not just saying, oh, well, that's just someone's sanskars, that's why they're like that. Oh, well, that's just their culture, that's why they're like that. No. If I can wholeheartedly embrace who they are, with no questions and no expectations. You are who you are, it is what it is. That would be called an unlimited stage. That's how the behavior, the feelings, the relationships would play out. And I guess I'm quite a straightforward person. Those of you who know me personally, I don't hesitate in saying things. And for me, the last 13 years in Abu Dhabi have been a very easy time. Why? Because I'm the big Didi here. I started service here. All the students are younger than me. So I don't have much challenge, to be honest with you, in the family. There's a lot of love. It's a small family. There's only 20 Brahmins. We work well together. People's sanskars are not very harsh. I would say it's been a very easy ride for the last 13 years. But last year, I was locked down where? Probably in the biggest Brahmin gathering family that we have anywhere, which was in Madhuban. And I was in Gyan Sarovar, and at the time, there were about 200 Gyan Sarovar Nivasis there, and they allowed about 40 Sevadharis to stay because they needed support, they needed help. So there was about 240 of us there, and a few double foreigners, not many. And I promise you, when we go there to Madhuban, most of us, we go as guests. I know we say we belong to Madhuban, and I'm saying this myself. I come from an Indian background. I have lived in India out of my 50 years of Lokik life. I have lived in India for 10 years. So I do have time that I've spent in India, and I do understand the culture somewhat. But to live within Baba's home and Baba's family in Madhuban was quite a different experience. Not a bad experience, a very good experience. Everything in drama is so accurate in its timing. But what it meant for me is it was a huge shift of my comfort zone, where here I am with my little family, everything works well, everything is easy. Suddenly you are with this immense, huge family. When you start to understand one person's sanskars, then you have a second and a third. And when you reach the 240th sanskar, can you imagine how much your heart has to stretch? How much you have to understand that each person in Baba's beautiful family is a wonderful soul with a wonderful journey and with wonderful sanskars. And this is where Baba and drama really helped me to really not just expand, not just stretch, but I had to just pull my heart out in such a huge way. Because if you don't do it, you end up with resentment, with your own questions, with your own finger pointing and judgments. So I think for me, last year was a wonderful journey of accepting that varying cultures, varying sanskars, varying backgrounds, and we've all come to Baba because we are, in more Christian words, we are Baba's chosen ones. The drama and Baba have chosen us because the soul has such an important part to play. And for me to respect that in every soul, respect it unconditionally, is having an unlimited heart. Not always easy, because my programming is one of seeing, why is this doing this, negativity in that? Why can't they be like me? Don't they understand? And these are the blocks. These are exactly the blocks that we have in our heart. What do? They shrink the heart. They create thorns in the heart that make us experience hurt, make us experience pain. Even a misunderstanding of something creates pain in the soul. And when I understood that there is such a variety within the Brahmin family, and my heart was able to start to expand more and more, and embrace more and more, and accept more and more, I also realized that my capacity to be able to be a friend, a real friend to souls, was a lot more. And when I say real friend, I don't mean like somebody who can go and tell them, Baba said this in the Murali, Baba, but you should be doing this, and Brahmin laws say this. No. A friend who just says, look, you have your journey as Baba's child. You will reach your state of perfection. I'm going to stand with you all the way of the journey. Sometimes, we see each other probably with clearer eyes than the person can see themselves, isn't it? You observe someone's behavior, and some of us have lived decades together, and we could probably write a book about other people and their sanskars. But to look within and to see myself often requires so much more honesty. It requires my heart to open inwards. But when I do look at others and I do have my judgments and my stories about them, ultimately, what will that do? It creates walls and blocks in relationships. And my heart stays just within my shrunken comfort zone about them, which means what? Should and shouldn't. You should be like this, you shouldn't be like that. And so to remove all of these layers, Baba very simply says body consciousness in the Murlis, doesn't he? He just get rid of body consciousness. It's such an overarching word which works for him. But the layers that he's talking about are so deeply embedded within our consciousness, embedded within the intellect, embedded in our heart. I remember once Shivani Bhen came to the UAE, and she gave a class in Dubai, and the majority of students in the UAE are Bharatvasis who have come here for work as expatriates. And this was a long time ago, in my first 1 or 2 years of being here. She was very clever. When she addressed the Brahmin audience, she asked, so who here is a Bharatvasi? Who's from India? Can you put your hands up? Now, I was in a little bit of a confusion because my passport is Australian, but I am from India. So I was thinking, do I put my hand up or not? And then Mohit Bhai tapped me on the shoulder and said, don't put your hand up. Don't put your hand up. She's playing a game. I said, okay. So I kept my hand down. Everybody else, put their hand up, and very few of us who caught the game kept the hand down. And she looked at them and said, okay, so all of you are Bharatvasis, all of you are Indians. Okay, fail. Complete fail. you haven't even let go of your nationality. Forget about talking about letting go of body consciousness. But it might sound like it's something simple. It's actually very, very deep. Holding even one label of body consciousness comes with a whole tree of beliefs. It comes with a whole tree of behaviors. It comes with a whole tree of judgments on what is right and what is wrong. And these are precisely the things that have been blocking my heart. So if you look back on your life and you see all the labels that we have accumulated, simple labels, easy things, you know. I studied in this school, or I come from this cultural background, I eat this kind of food, you know. One thing is that life has to progress in a practical way. Sure, you need to travel, you need a passport, you know, you need, oh, that's fine. But has it stuck here? Has it got so deeply embedded in me that it's actually filtering through into my behaviors, into my vision of life, into my perspectives, into my relationships? That's where the problem lies. That's where understanding starts to become very limited. And so to have an unlimited heart requires a lot of inner cleansing, inner cleaning, inner checking. For these subtle, subtle layers that appear to be so simple, but are often the ones that are the most problematic. You know, Baba always says it's the subtle that is hard to identify. Many times I say to people, you know, a clean heart is actually a non-stick intellect. You know, when we cook these days, at least when I go cook, buying pots and pans, and I always look for non-stick things. Why? Easy to cook, less oil needed, less masala, and the most important thing, easy to clean. Anyone cleaned a non-stick pan? Easy, no? Nothing stuck to it. You just give it a quick wash. It's done in 30 seconds. Try to clean a pan on which something is stuck. You've really got to put a lot of energy and effort into it. So non-stick intellect means, you know, an intellect that is not retained. It is not held on to my past story. Which means that all of that story, all of the junk of body consciousness is not filtering through and creating these walls and blocks in my heart. It's not creating all that limitation. I'd like to do a little exercise with you actually, as part of this 45-minute talk. And I don't want to run out of time and not do this exercise. So I'll just speak for another 2 minutes, and then I want you to do just a little, it's a little commentary, but a little checking commentary. You can follow with me. So what is the heart? You know, Lokik people say heart is emotions. Lokik people think that the heart is what fluctuates. You know, my heart is happy, my heart is sad. This is what they go on about. People talk about someone has a very good heart. It's a very commonly used word for Lokik people. Often it meaning a person comes with very good intentions. You know, a person has goodwill, good motives. In Brahmin life, a good heart is a heart, as I said, that is cleansed of my story and all my past labeling. It's a heart that has been released from the constrictions of body consciousness, which is why the heart is able to expand so much. A heart that has unlimited perspective, that has unlimited vision, and is able to embrace far and wide beyond my comfort zone. And these are the reasons why it is important to check the heart and to make sure that I am regularly pulling out these thorns and barriers and blockages from every single artery and vein within the soul's heart. So let me do this little exercise with you, and then I'd like to end with how we can work towards making our heart unlimited. So maybe just put down your pens and paper and your phones or whatever you've got in your hand. As we do when we meditate, just bring your attention to the here and now and come back to the awareness of I, the soul. I, the soul who's been on a journey. And I'd like you to just envision in your mind, in your mind's eye, a heart, any color. This is your heart, your feelings of goodness, goodwill, benefit that come naturally. It is love that comes naturally. And I want you to see all the people for whom you have this natural goodwill. People who you've never questioned or you don't criticize, no matter what they do. Somehow they sit in your heart because you've understood them and you've accepted them, even though they're not yet karmatik. They're not yet perfect. Just visualize these people. Think about events that happen regularly where you just know it's okay. They don't shake you. They're not perfect events. There are issues, but they're okay. You can manage them and keep goodness, keep feelings of benefit and pure wishes. Now I'd like you to think about the things that are outside of your heart. Maybe certain people, certain sanskars and behavioral patterns. Certain members of our Brahmin family who irritate you, frustrate you. And occasionally, a bad word might come out or a bad thought about criticism or judgment or limited feelings. Similarly, events that might create some inner fluctuation. And I'd like you to just try in this moment right now to expand your heart. And to just try to cover all the people who are outside your heart and those other events that might cause some pain or feelings of discomfort. Just trying to understand deeper. Trying to feel more goodness towards those people. Just deeper acceptance and love. And now I'd like you to do something else. I'd like you to stretch your heart even more, just a little bit more. And try to fit in the whole world. Even people who intellectually you can see are doing something wrong. It appears to be wrong. It appears to be something that shouldn't be this way. Maybe even Brahmins around you or seniors shouldn't be like this, couldn't be like that. Why? No, I want your heart to be so big, so expanded, so stretched, that everyone is accepted. Everyone is loved. And it's okay for everyone to be as they are, to play their part the way they are. Okay. So just bringing your attention and focus back. How does it feel when I invoke that level of goodwill inside me? How does it feel when I just say, okay, we can fix the issue, but before we start to fix problems and issues, let me first put myself on a platform of acceptance and love. Baba calls it the stage. What stage are you coming from? So for me to break free from my little comfort zone, my heart stuck in that comfort zone, and to make it an unlimited heart is stepping onto an unlimited stage inside, where I remain undisturbed, unbothered by events, people, situations, sanskars. And I think the final thing that can come to upset us and to shrink our heart are actually memories about myself and my own behavior today. Whereby, we know we're not perfect. We do make mistakes. And some of us tend to really push a lot of blame and guilt and shame onto ourselves. Just as some of us have, the habit of criticizing on the outside, there are some of us who turn on ourselves, criticize on the inside, give ourselves pain for a journey that we have to undertake. I mean, how many of us can look back on the last week and say, I was perfect all week. I didn't make any mistakes. I didn't have one negative thought. Can anybody put their hand up and say that? I can't. Barely a day goes by when I don't have at least one thought which could be a little bit better. So in all honesty, if I want my heart to be that unlimited, that stretched out, I also have to create a comfort zone so big that I can accept my own mistakes, my own journey, just as Baba does. What makes Baba so special? Why is Baba so pure? Not because he doesn't see reality, not because he doesn't know that we are impure. He says it in the Murali. I'm not going to tell you all the things that he tells us, you're donkeys, you're monkeys, you're this, you're that, you're hunchbacks. Baba tells us all sorts of wonderful things that we are or we were. But who does Baba speak to despite all of that? He lifts us to the sky when he says, I love you the most. I teach you. You will become deities. You will be worshipped. You will be praised. You will be everything. Not just to me, but to the world. So knowing this reality, Baba speaks to us here. This is his unlimitedness. This is his incredible pure-heartedness. And I think sometimes having an unlimited heart is me looking at myself in that way. And even though I spoke to you about external situations and people, it's easier to speak about that relationship. But it all begins with the unlimitedness of my heart towards myself. For me to be able to be a consistent student, to keep checking myself, to keep moving ahead in the right way, but at the same time, having mercy, having love, having patience, and knowing that it is ultimately a journey, and I'm not yet at that final breath, that final moment. So there is work that will be done. And as the work is continuing, I will keep seeing mirrors of myself that are going to deal with the more subtle sanskars. And the role of drama, as I said in the beginning now, is to squeeze. And drama is really going to squeeze hard. And all those extra subtle bits inside that are still remaining, they have to be squeezed out. Before they are squeezed out, I have to see them. So not to ever feel disheartened and disempowered, but to allow myself to see that and say, goodbye, good riddance. Let my heart expand, have love for myself. I'm still on the path, right here with my family and with Baba. And this is what will take us closer to being an angel. And one last thing before we open up for Q&A is Baba and Dari Janki have often said that the final virtue that will be needed, the final power that will be needed towards the end, do you remember what it might be? Something that I can't forget and I've reflected on a lot is actually the power of tolerance. And I think it is so linked with the heart today. Tolerance is not about, oh my God, I have to tolerate. If there's even the slightest feeling of I am tolerating you, it's not tolerance. The true tolerance, again, comes from deep understanding and deep acceptance. It comes from me having the faith that each one is going to reach their final stage in their own time, in their own way, according to their own journey, which is going to be different to mine. And to have the patience to see it through as a friend. So being a friend to myself and being a friend to others is the ultimate act of tolerance. I'm going to see the cycle through to the end with love, with mercy, with compassion, and with deep, deep tolerance for everyone. Even if behaviors go completely beyond and above my values, it doesn't matter. Holding that heart so wide, so big, so open, that I can embrace everything, is going to take you to the end with a loving intellect, a loving heart, an unlimited, unconditional heart that doesn't get shocked, that doesn't get scared, and that doesn't create any limitation in its vision, any judgment towards a person or a scene. So I'm going to stop there. I think I've spoken for 40, 45 minutes and open up for Q&A. I think if anyone's interested in asking questions or making comments.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Sona Bhen. It's a very good sharing. So I personally inspired by the words that this unlimited heart actually must have a good perception and also must have an unlimited vision. That is very important. I hope everyone also benefited from this topic. And now we have a question and answer session. There are a few questions from the floor. The first one could be, that's a question asked, says that, what is the language of this unlimited heart? What are the signs that we have unlimited heart?
Yeah. Lovely question. What is the language of an unlimited heart? You know, most people would say it's the language of love. And love is a word that we all hear a lot. It's used a lot in the Lokik world. But I think for me, I'm a very practical, hands-on person. And my question would be, well, how do you show love in action? No, love is a feeling. But until something doesn't show up in someone's behavior and is practically seen as a result in their relationships, it doesn't mean a lot to me. It's just a word. So how does love show in relationships? That would be the language of the heart, isn't it? So I would go back to these two words really, acceptance and tolerance. I would say that the language of the heart is a language of being able to step out of my own comfort zone. Even if you think today, how much do I accept and how much do I tolerate? And then go back to the exercise I did. What is it that I don't tolerate? What is it that I don't accept? What is beyond my capacity? Because it means that I haven't learned that language. You know, we all know how to speak language this much, but language is huge, isn't it? You know so many words from a dictionary and so many words you don't know. So the language of the heart is really just deep goodness, deep feelings of acceptance, deep feelings of, I can't even call it tolerate because it sounds rough, but embracing unconditionally, unconditionally.
The second question says, let's say we are practicing soul conscious, forgot our past mistakes and moving forward to young life. But when others keep reminding the past, what should we do?
Sorry, when others keep reminding me of my past?
Yes, of our own past, then what should we do if others keep reminding that?
Yeah. You know, I feel sometimes it's hard for me to let go of my mistakes, and sometimes it's hard for others to let go of the old Sona. Because it's natural, isn't it? If they've known me for 20 years and I've behaved in a certain way, and suddenly I'm trying to change over the last 2 years, what will they remember? Obviously the 20 years, right? But if I have such a good impact on them now that it touches their heart, they will forget. I remember once I was having an altercation with someone in Australia, and you know, this person had very bad feelings towards me, very bad feelings. Like, you know, I was like the devil's sort of, you know, child. And I remember Charlie Bai said to me, and I can't forget this, it was years ago before I even came to Abu Dhabi. He said, Sona, it doesn't take much to change someone's feelings. Just a few acts of kindness, acts of love. Go out of your way. They'll forget everything. And I closed my eyes and I just did what he said. And truly, the relationship changed. I didn't hold in my mind the fact that they are holding bad vision of me. I just carried on being so loving, you know, just so generous, giving them what they needed. You probably all remember the blessing from this morning, don't you? You know, it's just put simply, it is feel the pulse. Give people what they need. And I gave so much love, but in action. Pack food for them, you know, look after their physical needs, go out of your way to give them chances to do things. You know, it didn't take more than a week. The whole past was forgiven and forgotten. So I think for me, the impact of my current stage and my current love and my current goodness, if I can show it in my actions and my words and in this incredible energy going out from me to them, it will be like a tsunami wave that will help them to forget the old me. But if I'm only changing, you know, like 10%, 20%, obviously they're going to keep remembering. Fair enough. Fair enough. So remember, it doesn't take long to change people's opinions of you, but you have to be a different you. You have to really, really come out of that limited you, that limited, comfortable you, and be someone different. Be someone so different and show it in your actions and your words.
Third question is, Dadi Chanti often talks about tolerance as a power or virtue. So is it can be referred to virtue or power, or is it both?
There are many virtues that are actually powers as well, aren't they? And the way I always see it is that a virtue is something that I can identify in action. You know, we say this person is a very virtuous person means we see their actions and their behaviors holding that virtue. very loving person, a very cooperative person, etc. Behind that is the amount of capacity in the soul to continue being that way. You know, what makes Lokik love different to Alokik love? Many mothers come to Baba, and I'm very envious of them because they naturally are cooperative. They naturally are loving. I wasn't like that when I came to Baba. You know, I came and I was rough and rough and tough, and I wasn't naturally loving and caring and cooperative and sweet. And some people come to Baba that way, but they come with that virtue. They don't come with that power. What does that mean? There's a limitation in how the virtue will be. There's a limitation in how long I can continue being that way. When put to the test, the virtue breaks down. So I can be virtuous with certain people. I can be virtuous if the situation allows. I can be virtuous with in certain situations. But for that virtue to be consistent, for that virtue to be unlimited, it needs to be backed up with power. That's why the virtue can only be unlimited, alokik, if it has power behind it. Otherwise, yes, it shows up sometimes. But then when put to the test, when with the saying in English, when situations get tough, then the tough get going, people run away. People can't be virtuous anymore. So to be unlimitedly virtuous, virtues have to be backed up with power. To be unlimitedly loving, love has to be a power accumulated within me. Otherwise, I'll be loving sometimes to some people in some situations, but that's a limited love. It's still got some lokikta, some limitation in it. That's how tolerance too. Ask yourself, to what level can I be tolerant? When am I not tolerant? And that will tell you how much power you lack behind the virtue of tolerance. That's the way I understand it. The virtue is shown, the power accumulated is behind it.
Next question is, can sister explain the difference between generous heart and having unlimited heart?
So generous heart versus unlimited heart, is that right? Or can you just repeat it again?
The difference between generous heart and unlimited heart.
Yeah. Unlimited heart, I will say, is the stage that I sit on. Unlimited heart is the platform that I come from. The level that I can be unlimited will be the level that I can be generous. Unlimited is like the stock I have. If you have a bandara and the bandara is full and the bandara is huge, think of the retreat center, think of ARC. I haven't been to see the stocks and the stores of ARC, but I'm sure that ARC has a very big bandara. Enough to cater to the Brahmin family for a long time. No? So they can be very generous. Now, most centers also have a bandara, but not as big as the retreat centers, generally speaking. So we are generous, but there is a limitation. So again, unlimited heart is the platform I stand on, the accumulation that I have. And again, the more unlimited is my accumulation, the more unlimited will be my giving. The more unlimited will be my behavior, my thoughts, my feelings, my way of interacting with the world. That is my generosity. Generosity will be proportionate to the amount of stock and what I have stored inside. The unlimitedness.
So the next question.
Is that clear? Is that okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the next question will be, I think sister already covered this in the talk, but yet, what are the main challenges do I have to face in order to have this unlimited heart. I mean, during the process to have unlimited heart. Really challenging.
Yeah. Well, the challenge is only me. Full stop. The challenge is only me and my own limitation. And like I said, Baba has one simple word to describe the whole limitation, the whole blockages, the whole everything, boundaries, everything. Baba just calls it body consciousness. But we need to unpack this word. We need to understand what it means. And every time I hold a limited vision on myself, with Logic people, we call it labels. We say we label ourselves as being this, that, the other. The minute I start to put labels on myself, I have created a limitation. That will be my challenge. So for me to go back to being nobody but everybody, a nothing but an everything, this is really the challenge. I am a soul, and a soul is tiniest speck that is not even measurable. And yet the soul is huge in its capacity. So to challenge my own limited beliefs, and to do the checking, the inner checking that Baba's asked us, any tiny bit of discomfort inside, any tiny bit of disturbance inside is talking to me, is telling me that this is a thorn, this is a limitation, this is where I need to pull out this label, this, this discomfort, this external Maya that is penetrated inside. How to do it is firstly to just accept that I am having an issue. If I'm upset, if I'm angry, if I'm frustrated, if I'm not feeling comfortable, these are all feelings of discomfort. You first have to accept this is me. It's not because of the person, it's not because of the sanskar, it's not because of the lockdown, it's not because, no. That has come as a mirror to tell me my hair is out of place. When you go and comb your hair, you don't say, oh, the mirror is wrong. You say, no, my hair is not right. If your hair is not looking good in the mirror, do you smash the mirror? No. You thank the mirror for showing you so that you can look okay, right? And that's exactly what we don't do spiritually. We smash the mirror. We smash the outside world. We say, if this wasn't like that, if the situation wasn't like that, if the person's sanskars had been a bit better, if they should do the right thing, then I will look good. Then I'll be okay. But the world comes as a mirror. Drama comes as a mirror. It comes to show me where my challenges lie, where the inner work needs to be done. It comes to show me still where my limitations are, where my heart is still blocked, where my stage is still limited. Mike George has a book called What's in the Way is the Way. So it's a tagline on his book. And, I think if we listen to the drama, the signals of the drama will mirror to us where all our challenges are. And then we accept that I'm feeling uncomfortable. I'm not feeling right. Something disturbed me. And I look inside and I ask myself, where is that misbelief coming from? Where is that limited thinking coming from? What is it in me that is not reciprocating from deep, deep, deep soul consciousness and virtue? Is that okay? Or do I need to expand even more?
Yes, that's a powerful word. Sister mentioned mirror is a very good example, I think, of the Brahmin life, where we forget to correct ourselves and we always try to smash the mirror. So very good and powerful word, sister. So the last question, what is the difference between tolerance power and power to accumulate? So we go back again about the tolerance power again.
So power of tolerance and the power to accumulate. Did I hear correctly?
Accommodate.
Accommodate. Okay. there are two things. And, you know, I think in some countries, they've even simplified these powers, you know, and they call them different things. Some people call the power to accommodate the power to adjust oneself, to be flexible. Why I like this one is because Baba sometimes talks about molding ourselves. And he says, you know, real gold can mold itself. And you know the word Sona, it means gold. So whenever he says this in the Murli, you know, I get very happy because I think, oh yes, but then I have to do my inner work and my checking as well. You can't just be happy with a word, right? So the power to accommodate is the power that for me to adjust myself in any situation. It is the power, sometimes we show it as the ocean or like water. What does water do when it hits a rock or a stone? It moves around, doesn't it? It adjusts, it has to keep flowing. It has to keep going. But it knows how to accommodate in such a way like nothing happened. Nothing happened. I'll tell you a little story. I don't know if this is a story that Dadi told or someone told of Dadi, but somebody spilled something in Global House and Dadi came and saw that something was spilled. And she just said, oh, what happened? And the sister there launched into the long story of, well, so-and-so was carrying this and then someone bumped into them and then, you know, this thing spilled and then the jug also crashed and this broke and that happened. Dadi said, I didn't ask all of that. All I meant was, let's mop it up. Let's clean it. Let it be as though nothing happened and there was no story to be told. This is the power to accommodate. The power to accommodate is actually, again, to embrace, but to embrace in a very practical way so that my flexibility and my power to mold myself according to the situation makes things smooth and easy. It's not banging my head, banging sanskars against each other. And for me to be able to do that again, I need to reach deep within me until I come to the unlimited me. Not the me that is holding my labels and limited sanskars, you know, limited sanskars, limitations. So if I say to myself, this is my culture, it means that I can't mold myself beyond that limitation of culture. This is the food I eat, it means I can't mold myself beyond that food. This is the way, you know, I dress. It means I can't mold myself beyond that. You've all noticed I'm not wearing a sari today. When I came here, I remember Dadi saying to me, Sona, you have to look the way they need you to look in this Islamic country for you to get the message across. It was an act of deep courage, and it was painful for me to say, okay, I will not wear my sari in the UAE. But I had to mold myself to get results because it was part of the role that I was needed to play. Not everyone has to play that role. So for me to be accommodating, to be flexible, to be malleable, moldable, I have to let go of the limitations of the labels I hold. To tolerate is a much more inner state of being. To tolerate means for me to have a backdrop that allows me to accept everything that is going on. After accepting what is going on, to then step into the current situation with that much flexibility, with that much capacity to mold myself, to fill in the gaps, to move the situation forward without blame, shame, judgment, so that we can move forward in a wholehearted way and as one family. Tolerance is the background. It's step number one. To be accommodating in my nature is to be able to see how to fill in the gaps, to be unlimited in moving a situation forward. They both work together. Some people are very good at being tolerant, but they don't know how to move a situation forward in such a way that we keep progressing, we keep moving, we fill in for people who can't be there at the time. We fill in for sanskars that cannot emerge at this point in time. You know, if a mother is getting upset with her child, you fill in, you be the mother. And when I am unlimited in my power to accommodate, I never say it was their task. No. Baba's task, what is needed, I'm happy to do. I'm happy to pick up the mop and say, I didn't spill, I didn't break, I wasn't one of the people in the situation, but I'll pick up the mop now and I'll help with the cleanup.
Thank you, Sister Sona. So with this question, we have ended the question and answer session. I hope all are clear about the answer that Sister Sona gave and benefited. So Sister Sona will give us a meditation experience with guided commentary now. So after this, please stay back. We have few announcements and also words of thanks from our senior instruments. Om Shanti. So now we have meditation experience.
So just sit back comfortably again. Bring your mind from all the thoughts and feelings that we've been playing with over the last 1 hour. Pull your thoughts back from all of that and come back to the seat of the soul, the throne of the soul, and that feeling of I, the being, within the body, the sparkling soul, the point of light. And I radiate my light, my feelings of goodness, of love, of purity outwards. I radiate to the Brahmin family, my Lokik family, friends, acquaintances, students. I send out pure feelings, good wishes, love. And as I do that, I check. Is there anywhere where my love is blocked? My good wishes are blocked. But there is some limitation, some condition. And I accept that maybe there are some feelings that are not quite 100% pure. And I acknowledge the areas where I need to work. Because this honesty is what will actually help me to create change. And now I take my mind up to Baba, the one who has no limitation and is in a state of total love, who knows and yet goes beyond knowing what's happening today and sees in an unlimited way the beauty of every soul. And I see how Baba's light and love extend out without any blockages. He knows, and yet nothing sticks in his heart. And as I sit with Baba, I feel what he feels. unlimited love, unlimited goodness, unlimited pure feelings for each and every soul. With a deep vision of benefit, I also see all the situations and events in my life with the same vision and perspective as Baba. Everything comes with a meaning. Everything comes to teach me something. Nothing has ever been wrong or bad, and nothing will be so. And I feel my energy now reaching even further. My vibrations, like Baba's, going into the unlimited. Even where there was a block, the block is now healed. And I can sit in Baba's heart, in his same frequency. Sending out unlimited goodness from my unlimited heart. Now bring yourself back to the current moment with that deep realization that it's time now to be angels and to clean ourselves to such an extent that we make Baba not just happy, but proud of us and live in that unlimited way. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, sister. Thank you. So now we will invite Didi Mira to give a few words of thanks to Sister Sona.
Click. Okay, so what I was saying was that I know Sona from the day one she arrived with Mohit Bhai in Sydney, Australia. During those days, I was living in Sydney. And then after they had taken course and they became Pakka, they moved into another city. And you remember that first public program, Sona?
I still have a photograph.
It was an experience for her because she has never done the public program. I was giving the talk and she has to introduce the Brahma Kumaris. And that was her first attempt to speak in the public. But really, and after that, I have seen her, of course, organizing so many big programs. Then also, I stayed with her in Lura. When they moved into Lura, they were looking after Lura Retreat Center for a couple of years. And I was with them for a couple of times for retreats, and how efficient they were running the retreat center. It was amazing. So I have been seeing her growing from scratch to what she is now. And really, I admire her courage and her enthusiasm and her attitude for learning. I have also visited Abu Dhabi twice, and I have seen the wonder she has done in Abu Dhabi. all the students are Arab speaking. It's not easy to get a 20 Arab students coming to the center. They come with their clothes, normal Arab clothes, totally black. But of course, they have inner space where they come freely, because in the middle of the town, it is like a shopping center. But then to create that recognition for them, and they have become Brahmins, and they have been to Madhuban to meet Baba. And so I can see Sister Sona's growing from childhood to maturity. And so I really appreciate all your progress. And now, of course, she is also looking after the Double Foreigners program. And because she speaks many languages, so she gets opportunity to to do lot of service. So I just wanted to invite her to share her experience, because I think she has a wealth of experience in her life. And so whatever she has spoken today is from her experience. So on behalf of the Malaysia family, Sona Ben, you are really Baba's Sona. Sone ki tukda. Gold, real gold of Baba. And so we all love you, and Baba loves you, definitely. Uh, so take care of yourself and extend lots of love to Abu Dhabi and Dubai family.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Lots of love from here too.
बेहद बाबा बेहद करते, बेहद बाबा बेहद करते, हम बच्चों को प्यार।
बेहद बाबा बेहद करते, हम बच्चों को प्यार।
हम हैं शुक्रगुजार आपके बाबा, शुक्रगुजार।
वीरा को सर सब्ज किया और हर गुल को गुलजार। हम हैं शुक्रगुजार आपके बाबा, शुक्रगुजार।
हम हैं शुक्रगुजार आपके बाबा, शुक्रगुजार।
बेहद बाबा बेहद करते।
Yeah. Yes. Now you can see everyone. How
Yes.
many today listening, Brother Karen?
Om Shanti. Today we had about 200 souls who were online listening.
So everyone can wave goodbye to Abu Dhabi.
Wonderful Malaysian family. Thank you, Sister Meera. Om Shanti.
Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Yeah.